WTIM.
Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our Pana Morning Show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. Our WTIM Pana Morning Show, it's also coming to you from our Taylorville studios with Pana Civic, business, and nonprofit leaders. Brought to you in part by Pizza Man, Norton's Hardware, Bob Writings Pana, the Pana and Nokomis Dairy Queen, and the Oconee Chop Shop. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, our guest in this segment. We're happy to be joined by Bill Jackson, Lakeland College Athletic Director. Good morning to you, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing great, Grayson. I appreciate you having us on.
Well, thank you for joining us here today to talk to us a little bit about Lakeland College and all the athletics that you have to offer. Let's start there. How many programs or teams do you have to offer at Lakeland College?
Currently, right now, we offer 8 athletic teams, men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball and softball, and volleyball. 3 years ago, we started playing target shooting. And then this past fall was our first fall offering a competitive men's and women's cross country programs again after a 20-year hiatus in those programs.
Okay, I did not realize that cross country had been something previously offered, so it's been brought back now. 8 total athletic teams that are offered on Lakeland College's campus, and it sounds like you've had quite a bit to celebrate recently amongst almost all the teams that you've got under your umbrella there. Can you start by telling me a little bit about the volleyball team and how they did and how they fared this last season?
Yeah, our volleyball program has been continuing to build. Coach Lanny Jackson is this past year was her 3rd year with us. And every year she's continued to grow this program and continue to get it better. In year 1, they were just a couple games over 500. In year 2, they ended up winning the first conference championship since 2014. And then this past year, another feat that hadn't been accomplished since 2014 was they won the Region 24 championship in that tournament and gave us an opportunity to host the Midwest District here in our gym. So continuing to grow, and not only are they doing it on the court, and her teams have been continuing to get better every year on the court, but they've been also doing a great job in the classroom as well. And this past fall, they were our highest GPA team, our second highest GPA team at a 3.5 GPA as a program.
That's excellent. So, and obviously something you need to be able to keep track of as well. And you're hoping that the athletics, then, success there on the court helps maybe translate in the classroom as well. And it sounds like some of that has been taking place. Talk to me about Laney Jackson there. You mentioned she'd been now with the program for 3 years. Improvements have been seen all 3 years. And now it's kind of culminated with a Region 24 championship. Can you talk to me a little bit about Coach Jackson and what she's able to provide not only to the program, but on an individual basis as well?
Coach Jackson, like I said, she's been with us for 3 years. And year 2, she was the conference coach of the year. And then this past year, she was named the region coach of the year. Has unbelievable drive. And that's something that drew us through the interview process with her was she has a competitive nature to her and a drive to be great. And that's something we're always looking for in our coaches is that understanding of constantly pushing for excellence. And that's something that she constantly portrayed during her interview. And it's not only on the court, but it's also in the classroom, as you can see from an academic standpoint with that 3.5 GPA this past fall. And last year, they were named an academic All-American team, which every single one of our programs here last year was named an academic All-American team, which means that they all had a cumulative GPA up over a 3.0. So I think there's a direct correlation between success on the fields and on the courts to the classroom as well.
Well, and for you, when it comes to having that many academic teams too, definitely something of note there. And I figured, in 3 years, making those improvements, whether incremental or not, into being named, a conference coach of the year, then the region coach of the year, obviously Lakeland College being able to build on a successful volleyball program. And we hope that continues into the next year for you guys as well. Another mention here is about the clay target shooting team. You talked about that being one of the more recent teams added to your roster. Tell me about that clay target shooting team and the success maybe they've had recently.
Hey, Josh Folk is our head coach for our clay and target shooting team. He is in actually year 3 of this program. Every year we've continued to strive to get better. And this past year and the year before, we're back-to-back national runners up at the U.S. College Clan Target Nationals. We finished both years behind a four-year institution out of St. Louis, or the St. Louis area, and Lindenwood University. They've had a coaching change, so Coach Volk is kind of excited about the here next fall, and the opportunity to go out there and compete again at the highest level. So it's been really great to be able to see this program continue to grow and continue to get better. It's a sport that is very highly participated within our district by our high school student athletes. And it was a sport that we kind of looked at and said, and I think this is an opportunity for us to offer something that we're currently not offering that would be a benefit for our student athletes within our college district.
Yeah, it's certainly not one of those sports that come top of mind, or it's not one of those things that you think of maybe first and foremost. But definitely interesting that in 3 years we've finished now twice as the runner up. So we've got just one last little hump to get over, and that's becoming national champions. So very cool just to see the new programs kind of pop up and really develop over the last couple of years. And you talked to us about the fact that we just brought back men and women's cross country teams this fall. It'd been 20 plus years since having done so. What about this men and women's cross country team? Can you tell me? This is news to me.
Our men's and women's cross country program, as I mentioned earlier, and as you just mentioned, was a 20-year hiatus. It had stopped in 2005, just because the participation numbers were very low. Every year we kind of look at, and I pull out to every high school within our district and see kind of participation numbers within our high school athletic programs, and see kind of where we can kind of grow from our athletic department. One of the things that we were looking at for the last probably 5 years was the opportunity to start and restart our men's and women's cross country program. And we hired a coach, Kate Malted. I'm going to butcher it right now because it used to be Kate Bushu, and she just got married, and it's Malatinakis is her married name now. And she is really hit the ground running. We gave her about 6 months to be able to go out and recruit a program and recruit a team. And with her being able to do that, this past fall, our women's cross country team actually earned its first ever in the history of the whole program, a regional championship. And we actually ended up having a team. Our women's team went out and competed at the national meet, finished 20th overall, and we actually had our first All-American, a young lady out of Louisville, Illinois, and Brooke Cohen. She was named third team All-American. She finished 20th overall in that race in a snowstorm in Fort Dodge, Iowa, so in November.
That does not sound like the most ideal running conditions. But again, we're talking about all the success that's had, and now we're talking about first year success on the women's cross country side of things, especially. So super interesting to hear that numbers were down for that many years, and now it's kind of popped back up. What do you make of that in terms of just, was it like, hey, the numbers, we probably have them? What was kind of the deciding factor, I guess, is my question, in bringing back cross country teams to Lakeland?
And that's where the pull and being able to look at participation numbers within our high school district, or within our district high schools. We're always looking at opportunities for us to grow. And this was an opportunity for us to grow because the participation numbers within our in-district high schools had some pretty high numbers on the cross country side. So we thought it was an opportunity for us to be able to offer this. Shelbyville area has a high participation in cross country and has had a really good program. And there are some programs within our current high school, or within our current college district, that have had tremendous success at the state level. And we thought we might be able to continue to piggyback off of that and build a program off that continued success from our high school programs within our district.
Okay. And I figured maybe an answer close to that, but it's definitely good to hear it in your words, considering that, again, there just has to be a reason for just about everything. And this seems to be a decision that's paid off in this first year, let alone here moving forward. Well, Coach Jackson, or let's take ourselves a break. Let's take ourselves 3 minutes here to just kind of discuss some of your other teams, because from my time at Lakeland, I know that women's basketball, softball. There, we haven't even talked about some of those teams of continued success over the last what feels like decades now, and so I'm excited to be able to share that with our listeners out there as well. Right now, joining us by phone, Bill Jackson, Lakeland College's athletic director. We'll come back with him and talk some more of the sports that are here now and yet to come. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust.
Your information station, WTIM.
Check the markets now on the RFD radio network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn steady, beans and wheat trading lower. March corn down 1.25, 423.5. May corn down 3/4, 431.25. December new crop 450.25, up half a penny. March beans down 3.5, 1054.25. May beans down 2 3/4, 1066. November new crop 1067.25, down 1 3/4. March Chicago wheat 510 3/4, down 7.25. March KC wheat 521 3/4, down 5.5. March bean meal down 80 cents, 289.20. March bean oil 53.12, up 51 cents. Livestock trade. January feeders 361.50, down 42 cents. February live cattle up 40 cents, 232.55. February lean hogs 88.65, up 37 cents. Energy market, February crude oil up $1.14, 60.58. RFD Radio Network.
If you're like most people, finding extra money for your savings just doesn't happen. Hi, this is Julie Sanchez at People's Bank and Trust, and we have the solution you've been looking for. Sign up for our Save by Spendings Roundup program, and we'll round up your purchases to the next dollar, then transfer that change to your savings account. It's as easy as shop, enjoy, and save. Start saving for the things you really want with our Save by Spending Roundup program. Call 888-PBT-1954 and let us put you and your savings first. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Taylorville Tornadoes are on WTIM. Listen on air or online for all football, boys basketball, and playoff games of both teams on AM, FM, and streamed on the WTIM mobile app. Sponsored by your Taylorville McDonald's Restaurant, Advanced Title Group, CNB Bank and Trust, and Taylorville Memorial Hospital.
The purple and gold are coming your way. The Taylorville Tornadoes are going to do it today.
Of the 2024 construction projects by Christian County businesses, those businesses saved an estimated $370,000 in sales tax by utilizing the county's enterprise zone. Through the efforts of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation over the past 20-plus years to establish and grow the county's enterprise zone, new and existing businesses in the county can save significantly in sales taxes. Find out how they can help your business by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. The Christian County Economic Development Corporation is moving Christian County forward.
You can feel it coming. Winter's on the way. The cold, the wind, and yes, the snow. Don't spend another season battling old man winter. At Taylorville Estates Assisted Living, you'll stay cozy, comfortable, and cared for. Get on the waiting list now at 705 South Houston in Taylorville. As winter weather hits, make the call and don't fall. Enjoy peace of mind knowing help is always nearby and friends are just down the hall. Stop by and visit with Administrator Tony Clark or call 824-2222. Taylorville Estates Assisted Living, encouraging independence in
WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Pana Morning Show, brought to you by our title sponsor in People's Bank and Trust. The Pana Morning Show is also brought to you by sponsors like Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Bob Riding's Pana, the Pana and Nokomis Dairy Queen, and the Okanee Chop Shop. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. In this segment, we're joined by Bill Jackson, Lakeland College's athletic director. We talked about volleyball, cross country, and clay target shooting. We want to focus on the basketball season as it's currently underway. A lot of success has been had by this basketball program, not only on the women's side, but on the men's side as well. How's this year going, and what success would you like to highlight?
You know, this year's been kind of a little bit of a rebuilding year for both programs. It's been kind of an up and down year. Women's basketball is coming off of another really good season this past year where they finished 28-9, and at the national tournament they finished 6th in the country. Got an opportunity to play another Region 24 team in the 5th place game and didn't come out on top. I tried to get the national office to allow us to play it in our gym and move it from Joplin, Missouri to our gym to allow us to play that fifth place game. They didn't allow that. So, another good run for them. And in this current year, they're very freshman dominant, and they're still continuing to figure out each other and figuring out how they all work together.
Okay, so this year, maybe a bit of rebuilding, retooling for the two programs, but just coming off of a lot of success where you finished sixth overall. How much can you attribute that success in terms of the women's basketball side to Coach Dave Johnson? He's been a staple for that women's program for many, many years. What can you tell me about the relationship had there?
Coach Johnson, he's our most consistent coach when it comes down to it, and he's been here for 28 years. This past year, about 2 weeks ago, he actually ended up winning his 600th game, which in 28 years averages over 20 wins a year, which for any basketball program, that's kind of the staple at the college levels. Winning over 20 games is a successful year, and can be looked upon as that successful year. So he's had an opportunity and had some really good teams come through here, and has won our only national championship as an athletic department in 2021. That had a young lady out of Pana on that team, and Miss Schoonover. So it's just been continued success, and continued to he drives our athletic department, and continues to help some of our younger coaches with questions, and kind of coaches them up, and has an opportunity to be able to continue to help us grow from an athletic department.
Well, and off the floor, I've had the pleasure of talking to him, and he's a great man too. And so to have somebody like that kind of leading the way, as you just mentioned, as part of the athletic department, that's a great person to have at the helm there, or at the top there alongside you. We're talking women's basketball right now, but it sounds as if the men's basketball program had a good year last year too.
They really did. Coach Larry is in his fifth year now, and every year it's similar to our volleyball program. Every year they've continued to get better. In year 2 of his program, they finished over 500, which we hadn't done in about 12 years. And then in year 3, they ended up finishing 19, just short of a 21 season. And then this past year, they ended up 23-9 and reached the regional semifinal, lost to John A. Logan in the regional semifinal, who ended up winning the regional championship last year and moved on to the national tournament. So he's continued to get better every single year. And not only have they done, both those programs have done it both on the court, and they're doing it in the classroom as well, with both of them finishing up over a 3.0 GPA last year. Men's basketball was a 3.1, and our women's basketball program was a 3.5 GPA this past year. So both of them academic All-American teams, on top of having really good success on the courts.
Man, yeah, great to hear for Lakeland as a whole too. Just getting the field house jumping for these basketball seasons, and not just on the women's side, but the men's side too. And that's not where it ends. I know that we don't have a ton of time here to highlight this, actually less than a minute, but I'd love for you to have a second here to talk to me about the Lakeland softball and baseball team and the success they've had even just in the last few years.
This past year was a story year for both those programs again, and both of them made really good runs. Softball ended up 45-20 overall, and won a region and Central District championship, and went out to the World Series in Yuma, Arizona. And they finished 12th in the country. And our baseball team had an unbelievable year as well. Team finished 42-19 and won a region championship and a Central District title as well, and then made an unbelievable run in the College World Series and finished 4th in the country. Really proud of that program. As Coach Godinez was a former player of mine and a former assistant of mine as well. So it's been fun to continue to watch all of our programs continue to get better year in and year out.
Well, I almost called you Coach Jackson again. Bill, I appreciate your time here today, and best of luck in having that continued success. I don't think it'll be too hard to find, but definitely appreciate you joining us here this morning.
I appreciate your time, Grayson, and I appreciate you having us on.
Hey, thank you. And that is, again, Bill Jackson, Lakeland College's athletic director here, joining us on the WTIM Pana Morning Show. We'll be back as of tomorrow morning with with more content and coverage on WTIM.